My job, my entire field of physics, is built on a fundamental truth. The universe has unbreakable rules. Gravity, the conservation of momentum, the finite speed of light, these are the foundations of reality. Until today, we just got the calculations back. And we've triple-checked them. There's an object in our backyard, and it's not just a rock. We're calling it Atlas. And it is doing something impossible. The impossible object, everything blew up when we confirmed Atlas has non-gravitational acceleration. In simple terms, it isn't just moving under the sun's pull. Something else is pushing it. The most natural hypothesis, a comet, obviously, ice vaporizes as it approaches the sun, acting like a small rocket thruster, a familiar scenario. An easy explanation, so we run the numbers, the physics is clear. According to the law of conservation of momentum, to generate that mysterious thrust, Atlas would have to be losing a colossal amount of mass. We're talking at least 1/16 of its entire mass, billions of tons of material shed in the single month. It spent passing perihelion, and this is where harsh reality shattered our hypothesis. If something sheds billions of tons of material, it must create an enormous cloud of gas and dust. We should have seen a brilliant cometary tail, a spectacular light show, but we saw nothing. No gas, no tail, no evidence of mass loss. We have an object being shoved by an invisible force, yet showing no sign of an engine. This is a physical contradiction. It's like watching a sailboat accelerate with no wind, or an airplane hovering without propulsion. The signal from Atacama, and then the real shock came from the Atacama Large Millimeter Array, ALMA, one of our most sophisticated radio eyes on Earth. On the 29th of October 2025, ALMA locked onto Atlas. Their data confirmed the unbelievable. Atlas was displaced by 4 arcseconds from where gravity alone dictated it should be. 4 arcseconds may not sound like much, but in astronomy, it is a gargantuan deviation. It screams that this mysterious push is real, it's powerful, and it is happening right now. We are facing an inescapable conclusion, one that is sending shockwaves through the scientific community. We are observing something that behaves like no comet or asteroid we have ever seen. What are we looking at? A completely new physical phenomenon? Or something else? This is no longer speculation. This is observational data. We are just beginning to turn the first page of an entirely new cosmic chapter. What Atlas reveals next could reshape our understanding of our place in the cosmos. If you want to join me on this journey to decode the greatest mystery of my career, hit like and subscribe. The hunt has just begun. The bombshell in the numbers, 4 arcseconds. It sounds insignificant, doesn't it? In astrophysics, that isn't a whisper. It's a scream. It is irrefutable proof that a force other than gravity is acting on Atlas. As soon as we got these results, I applied the most fundamental laws of physics, the conservation of momentum, to see what this acceleration would imply if Atlas were a natural comet. The physics is straightforward, but the results are staggering. For Atlas to accelerate this much via outgassing, like a comet, its nucleus would need to lose a minimum of 1/6 of its entire mass. Stop and let that sink in for a moment. Not 1%. We are talking about it blasting away more than 16% of itself. Our calculations show that at this insane rate of mass loss, its total time to evaporate its entire lifespan would be less than 6 months. We know that Atlas spent only about 1 month passing its perihelion region, around 203 million kilometers. This means it would have had to lose that 1/6 of its mass in that single month alone. The missing mass problem. And this, my friends, is where the story shifts from a scientific puzzle to a truly compelling mystery. We have a clear physical prediction. If Atlas is a comet propelled by gas, it must be ejecting billions of tons of material. We should see a massive gas cloud. The problem? We don't. This is where the story gets really interesting. prior measurements from the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, but we don't see that gas cloud. And now, data from the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, makes this mystery even deeper. The Webb telescope paradox. This is where the story gets really interesting. Before Atlas began this strange acceleration, before October 2025, the Webb telescope observed it. For 5 months, Webb measured a tiny mass loss rate, just 150 kilograms per second. 150 kilograms per second sounds like a lot, but in space, it's negligible. It's like a slowly evaporating ice cube. And just as predicted, that tiny rate produced zero detectable non-gravitational acceleration. That very measurement is what allowed me, as the researcher, to calculate a minimum mass for Atlas. To be immune to that 150 kilograms per second push, Atlas had to have a mass of at least 33 billion tons. Now, let's put the two pieces together. The 5.5 billion ton ghost. We have an object weighing at least 33 billion tons. We also know from ALMA, part 2, that it is currently accelerating, which requires it to be losing 1/6 of its mass. What is 1/6 of 33 billion tons? That number is 5.5 billion tons. If Atlas were a natural comet, then right now there should be a dense, visible cloud of gas and dust carrying 5.5 billion tons of material surrounding it. We should be able to see it, but we see nothing. It's a ghost. Physics says the cloud must be there. Observation says it is not. This is a fundamental contradiction. D-Day, the December rendezvous. We won't have to speculate for long. One of the best observational opportunities in human history is approaching. On the 19th of December 2025, Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth, 269 million kilometers away. This is our golden opportunity. Hundreds of ground-based telescopes, alongside the Hubble and Webb Space Telescopes, will be aimed squarely at Atlas in unison. From the 27th of November 2025 to the 27th of January 2026, Atlas will be monitored by a campaign from the International Asteroid Warning Network, IAWN. This is the moment of truth. Hundreds of telescopes are trained on Atlas, waiting for this moment of truth in December. This massive observation campaign will force our hand. If the campaign fails to detect that 5.5 billion ton gas cloud, the one physics demands must be there, then we will run out of natural explanations. Cometary outgassing will be definitively ruled out as the cause of its non-gravitational acceleration. A technosignature, as I, Avi Loeb, in my role, have maintained, this is a simple test of logic. If we fail to observe any massive gas cloud around Atlas in December, then the non-gravitational acceleration reported when it was near the Sun could be interpreted as a technosignature, a propulsion system, an engine. And this scenario, it carries an eerie and unsettling sense of déjà vu. The ghost of Oumuamua, remember the first interstellar object, Oumuamua? It did exactly this. It exhibited clear non-gravitational acceleration. And yet, even when the Spitzer Space Telescope, one of our most sensitive observatories for dust and gas, stared right at it, it saw no sign of gas or dust. This baffled comet experts. They were forced to classify Oumuamua as a dark comet, essentially. A comet with no tail. But as I have pointed out repeatedly, the tail is the defining signature of a comet. A tailless comet is an oxymoron. It's like talking about a fish that cannot swim. What is not a contradiction, however, an artificial object. A spacecraft with a propulsion system, perhaps a thin light sail or a high-efficiency engine, could easily exhibit non-gravitational acceleration without vaporizing billions of tons of matter. And now Atlas is presenting hauntingly similar characteristics. As I've eloquently argued, if comet experts label this a dark comet, it is akin to a cave dweller finding a cell phone and classifying it as a rare rock. They are looking at something potentially complex through an overly simplistic lens. They are missing the big picture, the scientific debate. Popularity versus data. The gravity of this December observation campaign has attracted significant attention, and some science communicators are making very strong proclamations asserting that Atlas is definitively natural. However, I must point out a critical truth. Scientific truth is not decided by popularity contests. It is decided by our willingness to heed the data, especially when that data is anomalous. While they make broad declarations, I've authored 11 scientific papers in recent months focusing specifically on Atlas, systematically documenting and analyzing its unprecedented irregularities. We are facing what I am calling the 9 impossible anomalies. My challenge to anyone who claims Atlas is natural is simple. Explain all 9 of them. Anomaly Hashon, the impossible orbit. Let's start with the first one. The orbit. Atlas entered our solar system on a trajectory almost perfectly aligned, inclined only 5 degrees, with the ecliptic plane, the plane on which the planets orbit the Sun. Why is this important? The ecliptic plane is the flat disk on which all the planets, including Earth, orbit the Sunday. For an object arriving from interstellar space, this alignment is statistically near impossible. It's like firing an arrow from another continent and hitting a bullseye, but that's just the beginning. Anomaly #2, the physics-defying thrust. This is the one that has comet physicists completely stumped conventional comets eject material away from the sun due to the sun's heat. That is the fundamental mechanism. Atlas is doing the opposite. Our analysis of its acceleration shows its recoil. The force pushing it is pointed directly toward our star. This violates everything we know about cometary behavior. It is like watching water flow up a waterfall. Anomaly #3, the size versus inertia mismatch. The brightness of Atlas suggests it's a relatively small object. We can estimate its size based on the sunlight it reflects, but its velocity and acceleration, its inertia, implies something far more massive. The two measurements contradict each other. This fundamental discrepancy challenges our basic laws of orbital physics. It's like seeing a small car that has the inertia of a freight train. Anomaly #4, the perfect timing, and this is what truly gives me pause. Atlas arrived at the precise time to have sequential close encounters with multiple planets. It has already passed Earth, and its trajectory is now taking it toward Venus and Mercury, a miniature grand tour. This perfect synchronization is wildly improbable for a natural object wandering through space for millions of years. It doesn't look like a rock, it looks like an itinerary. And the fifth thing, the one my colleagues are struggling to explain, we've reviewed the first 4 anomalies, including the perfect timing. Now, the anomalies get even stranger. Anomaly #5. The industrial composition. We use spectroscopy to read the chemical signatures of distant objects. When we aimed our spectrometers at Atlas, we didn't find ice and dust. Instead, the analysis revealed a metal-rich composition bearing a closer resemblance to industrial alloys on Earth than to natural cometary material. To put it simply, it's like finding stainless steel in a rock that is supposed to be ice and dirt. Anomaly #6, extreme aridity. This may be the death blow to the comet hypothesis. Atlas is the driest object we have ever observed in the solar system. Comets are defined as dirty snowballs. They are ice. Yet this object, even when being baked by the sun, shows almost no water content. It defies the very definition of a comet. Anomaly #7, the impossible polarization signature. When sunlight bounces off a surface, it becomes polarized. The way it polarizes tells us a great deal about the texture and material of that surface. The light reflecting off Atlas shows polarization patterns that match no known natural material. It's as if the object's surface possesses artificial optical properties, something that simply does not exist in nature. Anomaly Hashite, the wow signal connection. And this is the one that gives even the deepest skeptics pause. The origin direction of Atlas, where it came from in deep space, aligns suspiciously with the location of the famous wow signal. This was the strongest unexplained, potentially extraterrestrial radio signal we ever detected back in 1977. This directional coincidence with the wow signal is statistically alarming. But even that isn't all. Anomaly H9, the impossible bluing. And this is the final anomaly, the one that truly defies logic. As Atlas approached the sun, it got brighter and bluer. This is the exact opposite of what a natural comet must do. Comets, when heated, release dust, which is reddish, and ice. They do not blue. It is like watching an object get colder as it flies straight into a furnace. Technosignature or natural phenomenon. 9 anomalies. 9 times the universe has told us, look closer. We are now approaching the most critical observation phase in the history of interstellar object research. The December 2025 observations will be the moment of judgment. There can be only one of 2 outcomes. 1, we will detect a massive 5.5 billion ton gas cloud supporting the natural comet hypothesis despite all the other anomalies, due. Or we detect no such cloud. If that second scenario plays out, if Atlas exhibits non-gravitational acceleration without the massive gas cloud that physics demands we will have in our hands, what could be considered the first confirmed technosignature of an interstellar object? Let me emphasize what this would mean. This would not be ancient evidence or faint distant signals. This would be evidence of technology in operation right here inside our solar system. This would be proof of active technology demonstrating controlled propulsion under the direct observation of humanity's most advanced telescopes. The moment of judgment, the coming weeks, represent a singular moment in human history. We are not just studying an anomalous object, we are potentially witnessing the first real-time observation of operational extraterrestrial technology. The physics is clear. Massive acceleration requires massive mass loss. If we do not see the gas cloud that must accompany that mass loss, we are left with only one explanation that fits the data. As we approach December 19th, when Atlas reaches its closest point to Earth, hundreds of telescopes will be focused, hunting for 5.5 billion tons of missing gas. If that gas is not there, we will know we are not looking at a comet. We will be looking at something infinitely more extraordinary. A piece of technology from another world, demonstrating propulsion that defies our very understanding of physics. The countdown to potentially the most significant discovery in human history has begun. In just a few short weeks, we will know if we are truly alone in the universe or if we are currently observing our first confirmed visitor from the stars. Stay tuned, because we are about to witness one of 2 things. Either this is the most anomalous comet in cosmic history, or this is humanity's first confirmed encounter with extraterrestrial technology,